Welcome to Campfire Wisdom. Grab a seat around the fire and tell us your story.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Campfire Wisdom. It is a beautiful Friday afternoon. This is our 420 special, and it's a perfect day just to get outdoors, get outside, enjoy some of this great creation. However you think that creation was made. Maybe you think it was created by one entity. Maybe you think it was spawned in the laboratory of the Grayskins. Maybe you think, it just came here as pure chance, and we are just the lucky sons of bitches who get to live on it. So anyway you think about it, it's important to get out and do it, kind of see it and visit it, cherish it, love it, all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, I wanted to just kind of say hello and check in with everybody about the May 18th trip. So as if you didn't listen to last week's, there's an open invitation on May 18th, 19th, and 20th. And just send me an email, and we're going to basically be camping together. We're going to basically take all the things we've talked about and put them to practice out at McGill Campground in Mount Pinos, just about an hour and a half to 2 hours outside of Los Angeles, north on the 5. So not too far, easily accessible. And even if you can't come for a night, if you just want to come for the day, check it out. It's not really that too much of a commitment as far as getting out there. So hope to see you out there. And again, let me know to reserve your spot, campfirewisdom@gmail.com. So I'm out here at Heritage Community Park. I was here a couple weeks ago, brought out that Slackline, had it about 45 feet, and was able to tackle it, which felt amazing. So came out here today and I met a buddy of mine, Robert, from work, and we were just hanging out, and I was giving him a lesson on the Slackline. So I set it up. It's probably about 15 feet, probably a little bit less actually. So much smaller distance, obviously a third of the size of the line that I did a few weeks ago, and showing him, and I'm trying to get on the damn thing, and I'm just like wobbly as shit, and it's almost confounding me. I'm like, this is weird. I was just doing, way further one, but my core, my stabilization is just a little off. I couldn't seem to find my groove. And of course, in my psychoanalytic 420 brain right now, I'm thinking like, okay, there's a lot of parallels there, and I've mentioned before that life is like a slack line. You gotta find the balance and focus and move forward at all times, and sometimes you gotta just focus on not falling off. And you're not moving forward on the line, but you're still making progress because you're not falling off. So the analogy of that is powerful in and of itself, but then you add to it the distance side of it. Generally, you do a shorter distance when you're learning, just because it's less daunting. But I'm thinking that maybe the large distance looks daunting to someone who isn't trained, but once you go to it, I feel like there's less feedback from the line itself. So while you're on it, it's not shaking you nearly as much as it is when it's shorter, because obviously just thinking about wavelengths and frequencies, there's less distance for those waves to travel, so they're coming back faster. So it actually might be easier learning slackline to do it at a longer distance than a shorter, even though visually you think it's easier to do a shorter distance. And that's kind of really good, another good parallel in life, because like you look at it and you're like, oh, I could never do that. I can do the short one, but actually the short one's harder. So sometimes that longer distance, that thing that's harder to attain, it looks more difficult, is actually easier in its own ways. I was prepared for the long one, but then in doing the short one, that's throwing me off. So if I train myself and prepare for the short one, I'm sure I can get it and master it. And then when I go back to the long one, it might be more difficult. So I think in many ways it's all about what are you preparing for in life and what are you trained for and how adaptable are you? Can you go from one to the other? So that was kind of my little challenge for the day. So I'm leaving it up right now. I'm actually going to fuck with it some more just because I want to feel more stable, more solid in that distance. But another good lesson to be had there. So me and my buddies talk about a legacy piece, something that will live through the generations in your family. And if you think of yourself as the patriarch of your family, you're starting a line with you, because obviously it starts with you because you're conscious of, the past generations and whatnot, but you're more involved in your own generation, obviously, for a reason, because you're there. But yeah, you just think about those pieces that you can hand down to your kiddos that can be the stuff that people talk about. Oh, you remember that hat of grandpa's? Because someday I'll be a grandpa. Or remember that rifle that grandpa had? Or, it's just kind of cool to think about that and to have that thing that you can pass along to your family. There's nothing more gross than someone who maybe doesn't appreciate their heritage or their roots or whatnot. But I guess it's to say that you could have kids, or you could have siblings that maybe aren't appreciative of your own origins or don't understand it the way that you do, or cherish it. And I guess that seems like such a disgrace to me, but at the same time, people have to be free to live their lives the way they want to live it, and I guess you can't force your kids to be like you or whatnot. You can just give them the values that you hope will at least lead them in the proper direction. I wanted to remind everybody about the camping trip in May. I would really love to see everybody out there. It would be amazing to get a nice group of people together, not just from my friends, but friends that I've met through this podcast, friends I've met through work, and just people along the way. Anyone who wants to join, that's the whole message here. So get your ass out to McGill Campground May 18th, 19th, and 20th. Send me an email to reserve your spot. campfirewisdom@gmail.com. I enjoyed rambling here with you today. I was actually going to interview my buddy who came out to meet, but our paths ended up going different directions here today. But and that's cool. Life happens. So sometimes you get to listen to me, and sometimes we get to listen to some other people. But hopefully we're going to get my buddy on the mic, at least for a little bit, to talk a little bit about his the legacy piece he picked up. So I really appreciate you guys taking the time to sit down and download the content and hear what I have to say. And if you would be so kind, if you enjoy at all what you're listening to, please feel free to give me a rating and a review on iTunes. That would be fantastic. I know it's the first time I've asked for that, and I figure, we're 28 episodes in, doing my best to be consistent and to provide value, and at the same time, if anyone has any input whatsoever, or if you have a story you want to tell, you want to be on the show, I'd love to have you. Please send me an email, campfirewisdom@gmail.com. Again, thank you for being here. I look forward to chatting with you guys soon. I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.
Campfire Wisdom is brought to you from the hills of Rancho Cucamonga. We'd like to thank the men and women that protect our national parks and forests. You make this journey possible. Theme music by Sean Cromwell.